Hello, Limestone student athletes. My name is Jason Jones. I'm the Assistant Director of Compliance for Limestone Athletics. And I'm here today to tell you about some important legislative changes from the NCAA due to the impacts of COVID-19. The first legislative change that I'd like to tell you about today is the opt-out clause. So student athletes can choose to opt out of all athletic activity for the entire 2020-2021 academic year due to concerns about contracting COVID-19. If you choose to opt out, Limestone cannot reduce or cancel your aid as long as you choose to opt out by October 1st of 2020. Student athletes may choose to opt out after October 1st, but at that point, your aid could then be reduced or canceled if you do not opt out by the October 1st deadline. Student athletes who choose to opt out will be eligible for an extension of eligibility waiver that I will explain in just a few moments. Also, coaches can still require student athletes who choose to opt out to participate in non-athletic activities such as study hall, medical treatments, and other non-athletic activities. Student athletes who choose to opt out must remember that you should be enrolled full-time to receive your athletics aid. You must be enrolled full-time to receive your athletics aid. The second legislative change in COVID-19 from the NCAA is the COVID-19 Concern Hotline. So the NCAA Board of Governors directed all of its schools and conferences to meet specific requirements regarding COVID-19 if we were to conduct fall sports during the preseason, regular season, and postseason. So the NCAA established a hotline, there is a phone number and email that allows all student athletes, parents, or any others to report potential concerns or return to sport concerns regarding COVID-19. The NCAA will notify the school and the conference administrator when they receive those concerns and expect the schools to review and address them. If you are aware of concerns regarding the implementation of the NCAA's return to sport guidelines, please call the number that you see on the screen at this moment. Legislative change is the season of competition waivers. Institutions can apply a season of competition waiver for student athletes for the 2021 academic year as long as they meet the following requirements. For fall sports student athletes can participate in the maximum amount of competition, which would be a full schedule, in the spring, and would still be able to receive the season of competition waiver as long as they meet these other requirements listed. For winter and spring sports, student athletes must participate in a 50% or less of their sport's maximum allowed dates or number of contests or dates of competition during the 2021 year, and also meet the other requirements listed below. The other requirements are the student athlete must have used a season of competition during 2020-2021 year, and the student athlete had to have been eligible for competition when they competed during the 2021 academic year. The 50% rule includes all of the regular season competition, which includes scrimmages and other normal exemptions. If a student athlete's team participates in more than 50%, but a single student athlete does not, they will not receive the season of competition waiver. However, the NCAA still allows for waivers to be submitted on a case-by-case basis. And then in individual sports, such as golf, tennis, track, student athletes can participate in more than 50%, may not participate in more than 50% of their sport's maximum. In addition, the team can also not participate in more than 50%. If you are participating on the JV team and the varsity team, the 50% would be combined for the JV and varsity dates of competition or number of contests. The final legislative change is regarding extension of eligibility. As I previously mentioned, the season of competition waiver, that refers to the 4-season legislation where every student athlete has 4 seasons to compete. The extension of eligibility waiver that I'm getting ready to explain to you concerns the number of terms that you have to compete those 4 seasons. Every student athlete has 10 terms that they are allowed to complete their 4 seasons in. This waiver will allow institutions to apply an extension, which would be 2 semesters, for student athletes for the 2021 academic year, as long as they meet the criteria below. The student athlete must first qualify for the previous season of competition waiver that I mentioned. The student athlete must be unable to participate due to a cancellation of their season. The student athlete must have been eligible during the 2020-2021 academic year. This waiver is applicable to all student athletes, regardless of your year in school or the number of semesters that you would have used. In addition, extension of eligibility waivers have been applied for fall sports student athletes whose 10th semester was this fall 2020. This would allow those student athletes to compete in the spring.